Top 13 Poker Strategies to Become a Professional Poker Player. Poker can seem like a complicated game initially, but with an effective poker strategy, poker players can increase their chances of winning. Poker strategy includes tactics to outsmart opponents and make the best decisions during the game. These strategies involve knowing when to bet, when to fold, and how to read other players' behaviors. Good strategies can turn a weak hand into a winning one, making poker an exciting game of skill and strategy. For beginners, having fun playing poker while also being careful is important. You can lose a lot of money if you're not careful and don't use the right strategies. Therefore, it's important to balance fun with caution. We've got you covered with the best poker strategy to win in poker. Best poker strategies to ace your poker game. Given below is a poker strategy guide to win a cash game. There are various poker tips that a player can understand from here and apply in the game. 1. Adopt an aggressive poker play. Being aggressive often pays off. To win, you have to bet, and to win big, you have to bet a lot. Poker is all about being aggressive and bluffing at the right times. Play solid and aggressive poker early on. Beginner poker players tend to be extremely careful. They might not bet when they should, or they might not raise when they have good cards, like high pairs or strong combinations. It's important to be aggressive with these hands and start with a big bet. Try making other players with weaker hands fold early in the game. If too many people stay in the game, your chances of winning decrease. But if you make them pay to stay, your chances increase greatly. Other players might see you as weak if you're too cautious. They might push you around, knowing you won't bet much. And when you finally do bet big, they'll know you have a strong hand and fold so that you won't win as much money. 2. Don't limp easily. One of the poker tips that you must know is never to call the big blind before the flop. It's not a good move. There are two main reasons why. If you just call, you can't win the pot before the flop like you would if raised. You make it easy for players behind you to join the game, which means more competition and less chance of winning. The only time it's okay to limp is when someone else has already done it. This is called over-limping, and it can be smart because you're getting good odds to join the game and maybe get a good hand on the flop. Subscribe us, watch our poker strategy playlist. 3. Patience is the key. Being aggressive in poker is considered a successful poker strategy. That doesn't mean wasting money on bad hands or going all in and hoping for a card that'll save you. That's a quick way to lose your chips. A smart poker tip is to fold most of your hands. It's a good way to play smart, and you can utilize the time to study your opponents. This is one of the poker tips that many players miss out on. Here are 5 tips to help you be patient. Most hands you get will probably be bad, so don't be afraid to fold. If you don't have a strong hand, fold right away. Watch how other players play and learn from them. When you're not worrying about your own hand, you can pay more attention to others. Wait for a good chance to win, then use your aggressive playing style to go for the pot. 4. Play your strong hands quickly to earn more. It's not a good sight when a poker player keeps their powerful poker hand hidden by checking multiple times, only to reveal it when their opponent checks at the end. This happens when players are too scared to bet and risk chasing others away from the pot, even with a strong hand. Usually, it's better to bet your strong hands to build up the pot and protect your chances of winning. However, there are times when it's okay to check if you're not likely to lose to a better hand. There aren't many cards left that could scare your opponent. Your opponent probably doesn't have a good hand. But if you're unsure, it's safer to bet or raise. It might be disappointing if your opponent folds, but it's better than risking losing or missing out on winning more. 5. Use the right hands to defend your big blind. The big blind is a special spot because you've already put some money in the pot. So if someone raises while you're in the big blind, you get a better deal. In this position, you get to act last before the flop. You can play more hands than in other spots, but that doesn't mean you should play any hand, even if it's bad. How many hands you should play depends on a few things. Where the person raising is sitting. Be careful for the players who play early and open against late ones. How many people are in the hand? If others have already called the raise, stay cautious. How big the raise is? If it's a big raise, be more careful. If it's small, you can play freely. How many chips do you have? If you don't have many chips left, play fewer risky hands and focus on having strong cards. 6. Start strong in tournaments. Don't play it safe at the beginning of poker tournaments. One of the poker tips to you must play strong and aggressive to build up your chips early on. Only play defensively when you're low on chips near the end. This is a tournament poker strategy that you need to keep in mind. 7. Attack weakness. If your opponent seems unsure, they probably have a weak hand. You can bluff aggressively to take advantage of their uncertainty. 8. Play when you're in the mood. Poker should be enjoyable. If you're not feeling good, it's okay to stop playing. It's better to quit when you're not having fun than to keep playing and lose money because you're not focused. You can always come back another time. 9. Only play in good games. Look for games where you have the best chance to win. To have greater chances of winning, these are the poker tips you must know. At least one of the players is limping regularly. Too many multi-way pots. Either very rare or very frequent re-raises. One way to win the poker game is if more than 2 conditions are met. Find a better table if that is not happening. Use table statistics if you play online poker. High average pot size and players seeing a flop are the 2 criteria to look out for while playing online poker. 10. Play for the long term. As a beginner in poker, you're likely to lose sometimes. You might have a great hand but still lose to someone who gets lucky on the last card. But don't get discouraged by these tough losses called bad beats. Becoming good at poker takes a lot of time and practice. You need to play many games to really understand how it works, and even more to become good. As you learn and use the strategies in this poker guide, remember these first 3 tips. Be careful with your bets. Be bold when necessary, and pay attention to what's happening at the table. This will help you stay calm and focused, even when things aren't going your way. Don't try to win back losses by making risky bets. According to most poker guides, decide how much money you can afford to spend on poker for each game and stick to that plan in the long run. Before playing poker, you should have a sense of bankroll management. 11. Develop your skills. You'll learn from winning and losing in poker, but getting better isn't just about playing games. You can also learn a ton from reading blogs and books about poker strategy. Playing online is another good way to get better. Just make sure you pick the right table. Free poker games are places for beginners to master their skills. 12. Understand the concept of GTO. Understanding the terms is important in a poker game, and one concept you should know about is game theory optimal, GTO, play. Poker players try to play perfectly in this strategy using balanced ranges and math-based models. If you play GTO perfectly, you won't make mistakes, while your opponents will. In a one-on-one game, luck decides if both players play perfectly because no one makes mistakes. But playing GTO perfectly is hard because there are so many different situations and card combinations. Many players aim for it, but only a few can do it consistently in real and online games. Still, it's important to understand GTO because it's common in today's poker. Knowing about it can help you improve your game and recognize when opponents use this strategy. 13. Bluff semi-aggressively with the draws. Here's a simple tip to improve your poker game. Use your draws to bluff smartly. Bluffing is risky but can pay off big if you do it right. Instead of bluffing randomly, focus on bluffing with hands that can become strong later, like drawing for a straight or a flush. These bluffs are called semi-bluffs because they have potential beyond fooling your opponent. They give you a backup plan if your bluff doesn't work out. When you're new to poker, avoiding bluffing with weak hands is best before the last card is dealt.